Alright, what's up guys, Azura here, and start of the month means a new set came out, so here we are here to take a look at the first impression of the new set. This time it is G-Set 15, I think, this time being the climax set for GZ, featuring support for Link Joker, Royals, Gears, Neo Nectar, Nubas, DI, and I think and Shadows, right? Yeah. So 7 clans got support, but unlike most of the other climax sets, this set I think actually is quite good, and most of the support that each clan got is very good. So yeah. So without further ado, let's get started. First clan we'll take a look at is Link Joker. So Link Joker got Chaos and Messiah support with some other stuff sprinkled in. I'm looking at the Glendio Stride. But we'll go over the relevant cards, so that means we're not looking at the Glendio stuff. So first off, the first GR that Messiah got is one of the best Messiahs that we've gotten, probably the best Messiah we've gotten, is the Integral Messiah. So its skill is on, so the quote-unquote first skill is when this unit attacks, you can CB1 and flip anything your G zone face up. So not a G flip, so it's pretty nice there. If you want to use multiples, you don't actually need 4 to use it twice. Attacks CB1, flip anything your G zone face up. To unlock everything on your board, so just your side of the field. If you unlocked 3 or more, soul charge 1, draw 1, and then this unit gets plus 10k. So this unit is really good because it gets you a draw on, it gets you soul, which is pretty important. It gets you a draw, which is also pretty important. But power is kind of irrelevant just because Van is already big anyways. But it gets 10k, so it's cool. But the important thing is that this thing unlocks everything on your side of the field. So there's no restrictions on like before where Flagellate only unlocked up to 2. Basalto's only unlocked 1 on first stride. This card just unlocks everything on your side of the field, so your extensions are very easy to think about. No need to overthink it or anything. So just a very solid and very good card. So this skill here is really good because it's a good first stride, it's a good second stride, it's a good third stride, and then if you do get the third stride, this card has another ability. So on play, if your G zone has 3 or more face-up Messiah units, so basically if you flipped like on third stride, if you flipped like 3 Messiahs face-up, you can use it. If you fulfill this requirement, both players put their entire hand back into their deck to draw 5 and then draw 5. So this stride is like a mulligan, it's a full mulligan, they draw 5 back. So this this effect can or it either can or can be really good, it can be really bad, because if your opponent already had a bunch of cards in hand, you shuffled them back, they probably lost a few of them, and you can probably kill them. Otherwise, maybe you gave them all guards. So yeah, this effect is it is very game winning if it does what it's supposed to do, but at the same time it is random. Unlike the TCG where this card can just screw your opponent over, make them like lose a bunch of shield value. This game is actually a slot machine where they could have had guards, they could not have guards in the hand, and then you shuffle their hand back, and maybe you gave them guards back into their hand, or you're also helping them put heals back too. So yeah, this first effect, things probably a lot better in TCG, but this card is still very much game winning. If your opponent has too many guards in hand, this will minimize the amount of guards, or like it will put stuff back, making it probably easier to kill them, because there's a very low chance you just give them 5 guards. So yeah, so regardless, this card is still really good. It's really good in all stages of the game, and then the third stride effect is just the cherry on top of the cake. So yeah, very good card. Next up for Chaos, their GR was the Althani. So its skill is on play, save your heart is a Chaos, Soul Blast 1, flip a Chaos unit in your G zone face up. So it doesn't have to be itself, you can flip universes if you had those, which I assume most people had those by now. That card's quite old. So flip any Chaos unit in your G zone face up to lock 2 units at random with priority to back row. And then if you could not lock 2, you draw 2, and 2 of your units plus 2k. So, and this is also an on-place effect. So the good part of this card is that a lot of the times players will play around Chaos by not putting stuff on the board for you to lock. This card basically says if you play around Chaos, I get to draw instead. So very good. This card is basically just a first stride. So realistically, I think you only need 1 in this card, because you have much better things to go into afterwards, and you don't want to redraw that many cards anyways, because deck out is still a concern in this deck. But yeah, this card is a very good first stride, and just does its job as a first stride. Opponent just leaves their board empty with just their starter. Even if you lock 1, you still draw 2 because you couldn't lock 2. So yeah, very, very good for Chaos, and don't need too many of it, so very nice there. And as for the Messiah, I think Messiah is probably a 2 to 3 of for that. But yeah, pretty good there. And then as for the other support, Messiah got 2 relevant cards. First one being the Ideal Ego Messiah. So this unit skill is, I think it's at the end of the battle that attack the Vanguard. You can, and if your Vanguard is a grade 3 or higher Messiah, you can Soul Blast 1 and lock itself. Oh, yeah, no, no, it does not need to attack a Vanguard. I'm pretty sure it can attack anything. At the end of the battle, this unit attack if you have a grade 3 or higher Messiah Vanguard. Soul Blast 1, lock itself, check top 3. Choose 1 card from among them and put it on your rear guard circle as locked. So this card is just an extra extender. It is grade 3, so you don't get to keep double int, but it is still an extender in emergency situations. And then as a Vanguard, on place or when you ride it, you can take a card from your hand and put on its run rear as circle is locked. If you do, draw 1. This unit gets your Vanguard gets plus 5k and choose one of your opponent's rear guards and soft lock it. So this card is a very good rear guard because it locks 2 front row circles by itself. So you can go like whatever on the side. You go like rear to rear. This goes into Van. You lock it, play cost, lock itself, lock something else to the other side over that unit, and now you have 2 front row circles locked. So you can actually extend with it. And then the Van skill, it is, in my opinion, not nearly as good as the old Alter Ego, the Alter Ego Neo Messiah. So this card, although it isn't as good, it is still a very solid Vanguard skill or a stride bonus. So even though it's not as good, you now have a actual backup ride that isn't terrible. Because before, in my opinion, I think the original Alter Ego was terrible. This card is actually a very serviceable backup ride. So very good for that. So good rear, good backup ride, which is basically what every deck wants for a second grade 3, you know, because obviously you have your main ride, and then your other card you would like it to be a decent enough backup, but also a good rear guard. And it's the last piece of support this deck got that's relevant, to, in my opinion at least, is the Maiga Messiah. So its skill is at the end of battle this unit attacked, so again does not need to attack Van. CB1 lock itself. Oh yeah, you need a Messiah Van as well. CB1 lock itself. Check top 3, choose 1 card from among them. Choose 1 card from among them, put it onto a rear circle as locked, and then yeah. So same effect as the Ideal Ego, so if you pay CB instead of Soul. And then GB2, this unit gets plus 2k per lock card on your side of the board, so it can be a solo attacker as well. So yeah, again, same thing, really good. Doesn't need to swing Van, I think that's the main thing. Doesn't need to swing Van, you can extend to the other side, yada yada yada. Just a very, very good card, very, very good extender. And definitely played. Both cards in my opinion are played at 4. And then as for Chaos, their grade 3 they got is the Chaos Breaker Close. So this card fills a very similar role to the Ideal Ego. So it's Vanguard skill, actually don't remember. I think it's on place or in your Starvader G unit strides. You can discard 1 Starvader from your hand to Soul Charge 1. Choose 1 rear guard and lock it. So not random power back row like a Crisis, but you choose 1 to lock, and then your Van gets plus 10k. So that's cool, but it is a -1 every turn, so that sucks there. And it does Soul Charge 1, meaning you deck out even faster, but this deck does need Soul, so I guess it's helpful there for that. But the main reason you play is for its other skill, which is a Drop Zone skill. When this unit is discarded from your hand, I think. So basically, if you stride with it, you can, and your Vanguard is a Chaos, you can Soul Blast 1 to force your opponent to hand lock 1 at the start of their turn, and this skill is a hard once per turn. So you cannot ditch like multiples of this and play cost multiple times to force your opponent to lock their entire hand. This card, you can only use 1 of this card's hand lock skill once per turn. So yeah, still very good card though, because again, it is another backup ride, which is not terrible. It also has a very good second effect that is very relevant, that plays towards the deck's whole win con of hand locking stuff now. So yeah, very, very good card, and definitely a 4 of in the Chaos deck. And as for other stuff, most of the stuff is pretty whatever. I don't even know what half this stuff does. I think this card's pretty good too for Chaos. So at the end of the turn, you can Soul Blast 1 to retire him to lock 1 of your opponent's rear guards with priority to back row. So he's useful that he can get you an extra lock, but he does cost Soul, which the deck does need a lot of. But he can remove himself from the board at the end of your turn, which is something that's just nice to have. And then his other skills, when this unit attacks, you can, and your Vanguard is a Chaos, CB1 to gain the skill at the beginning of your opponent's turn. They can choose one card from their hand and place it onto the rear guard circle as locked. If they do not do that, you draw one. So you either force a hand lock out of them or you draw an extra card. So pretty good for that. And he just has, so yeah, it's just two very solid skills overall. So pretty good card. I personally played F4, but I think this card is one of those flex spots, flex choice spots, where you can like play whatever you want in that slot in the deck. So yeah. So that's it for Link Joker. I think Link Joker, both decks got pretty good support, and Glendios is box filler. Next claim we'll take a look at is let's do Gears. Gears got really good support in my opinion. Let's get rid of this real quick. So well, I guess we'll go over the GR first, because the GR is like the whole new win con of the deck. It is a Chronovisor Heritage. So this card's skill is when this unit is returned from the field to the G, so basically at the end of your turn, when your G zones go back to your units go back to your G zone, you can choose 4 ZTBs that are face up in your G zone and flip them face down. So basically, this card only works on third stride because you don't have G guards in this game. So you have to go like first stride a ZTB, flip something, second stride, flip ZTB, flip something, and then finally on your third stride, Heritage comes down, and then the turn when he goes back, you choose those 4 that basically the first 4 cards you strided, flip them back face down into your G zone, so you lose GB count for that, but that's whatever, because the game's ending on this turn. Or rather, I say it, your extra turn. So when you do all of that, you gain an extra turn, and then at the start of your stride step, you stride him again from your G zone face up. Or you stride him again. So basically, on third stride, you just get an extra turn after that. So and yeah, doesn't cost CB, doesn't cost soul, doesn't cost anything. You just need to put your stuff back face down. So yeah, this card is quite good. This card is actually just a stupid win con for this deck now. If you can make it to the third stride, you've probably won the game. Not a whole lot of people can survive. Taking like a bunch of rears resetting stuff on one turn and then just taking the same thing again on the next turn. So yeah, this card quite good, very good, and definitely a very good win con for the deck. And best part for players, this card is a one of, because you're not doing this more than once ever. So very cheap too. So as long as you invested in Gears before this, very cheap upgrade that uses just 1 GR. And another card that made this deck absolutely bonkers is the new Chrono Jet. So Chrono Jet Dragon Z is absolutely busted. This card, if you just look at net advantage, this card is a +3 every single turn. So we'll go over the skill. So first skill is if you're paying the cost to stride, you can choose the cost of bind a grade 3 ZTB from your drop zone instead as the cost. So free striding every turn, not locked behind anything either. So if you ride this, and as long as you have a trigger in your drop zone, you can just stride for free. And there actually is a grade 1 from the set that also counts as a 3 in drop. So this deck just has a bunch of extra stride fodder in drop. So very good there. And then his stride bonus is also busted. On stride, Soul Blast 1 and choose 1 rearguard on either side of the board and bot deck it. Then call 1 ZTB from your deck that is grade +1 to the card you bot deck. So the easiest example for this is if you bot deck an opponent's intercept with this skill, you can call a grade 3 from your deck. So yeah, so it's +3 because free stride in 0 means you draw one after the stride, so that's 1 card there. And then Soul Blast 1, you make your opponent lose 1, so they go -1, and then you go +1 because you got a card out of you got an extra card out of that as well. So basically a +3 every single turn, which is absolutely insane. This card is so good. And you're wondering, oh, what are you doing with that grade 3, right? You stride Pegasus put that 3 back, turn that into 2 intercept. So even better, even more plussing. So yeah, obviously Jet Z I think is a obvious 4 of here. Don't think there's a whole lot to say about it. This card is absolutely nuts. I think this card, I think even without Heritage, this deck would still be really good just with Jet Z. But Heritage just gives you this like auto win con once you hit third stride. So yeah, these 2 cards absolutely busted. But this deck has even more support that makes it really good. So the first one is I just call these 2 the Lego Dragons, the grade 1 and the grade 2. I know they look nothing like Legos, but look like toys, so I just call them Lego Dragons. Van Rear, if you have no cards in your bind zone, this unit cannot attack. Do not worry, this is not an actual condition. His second skill though is at the end of battle, this unit attacked a Van and it was boosted. CB1, and bind this unit and choose a grade 1 and a grade 3 from your bind zone and call them. I don't know if they need to be in the same column or not, but you just get to call 2 cards from your bind zone. So this card is a 10k ride and 10k rear, which is really good for early game. And then late into the game, it is an extender that does not rip cards out of your deck, so that's really good as well for that. So this card, very good. I personally play 4 in my current list. And then the other card is the other grade 1. This is also the Lego Dragon, but his skill is Drop Zone and Bind Zone. This card counts. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or higher, this unit gets grade 2. So in the Bind Zone, it counts as a 3 for the grade 2 block dragon if you wanted that. And then since it's a counts as a grade 3 and Drop Zone as well, you can bind him for cost for your Jet Z's stride cost. So very good for that. And then his skill is when this unit is boosting a ZTB. You can have this unit gain plus 2k per card in your bind zone, and if you use that skill, you bind it. So he sets himself up in into the bind zone for this grade 2. So yeah, really good there. And speaking of the grade 2, the reason why the bind skill is irrelevant is because of the starter this deck got, which I guess I have to undo all my filters for that. But yeah, this deck also got a absolutely broken starter in the Dran Z. So his skill is when your grade 2 or higher ZTB is placed on Van. So basically, once you ride up to 2, 3, or stride, he pays the cost of bind himself to check top 5 and add any grade 3 or grade 1 from among them to your hand. So you can find PGs, you can find Napadas, you can find whatever grade 1 you're looking for. You can find your main ride off of this. So very good there. And then Bind Zone, GB1, you can discard any card from your hand and add him back from Bind Zone to hand. So he's reusable. So yeah, the only thing he's missing is anti-retire, but at this point, who really cares? He eats himself off the board. The anti-retire would only matter if if you need him to stay on the board to reuse him again. But yeah, this card is kind of good. Very good. Anti-retire will only push this card make it even more busted because he can stay on the board for sure. Yeah, this card's just really good. And then this card isn't even a cost because you can just ditch whatever you're planning to stride with on the next turn. You can like ditch one of the grade 1 Lego Dragons. You can ditch a grade 3 from your hand and just bind it for stride on the next turn. So very good card. This card is absolutely busted. This is without a doubt your starter right now in Gears. And I think that was it for Gear Chronicle. Yeah, but overall, this deck, with the inclusion of like 2 cards, or I guess like 2 and then 2 other cards, but it's mainly Jet Z and Heritage. This deck became like, in my opinion, it became from my 2 days of testing this deck. I think this deck is actually busted now. I think this deck is actually so good. The instant you hit third stride, you win the game. So basically, if you go second, you can stride 2 of your opponent's stride, which is I think pretty likely, because like not the hardest thing in the world, especially since it's like a back runner stuff. So you just win the game on the third stride because not a whole lot of decks can survive 2 straight turns of a lot of checks basically. First on like their first turn they're 5, they're taking like 2-3 checks. And after that they're just dying. So yeah, this deck absolutely busted now, in my opinion at least. And since you plus so much, this deck can actually play crits. So just a little preview: the list that I've been playing plays 9 crit because Jet Z is just that good of a card. Yeah. So that's it for Gears. Next, take a look at Shadows. So basically, I'm just going down the order of the decks that I know the best, or the decks I've actually played. So I played Link Joker, I played both there, I played Gears, and now I'll also play Shadows a bit. So Shadows got more, everything is Luard support, but we'll go over only the relevant stuff. So the GR this deck got is the Drag Abyss. So his skill is, once per turn, Soul Blast 1, G Persona Flip, and retire one of your rear guard to call 2 grade 1s from your deck. And then I think it's that if you called it 2, or you call you call 2 grade 1s from your deck. And then if you called it 2, you choose one of your opponent's regards to retire it. So you sack 1 off to get 2, and then you retire 1. It's pretty good there. All for free, no CB required. And then GB3 Ritual X, for every I think it's for every 4 grade 1s in your drop zone, your board gets plus 10k, I think. So very big numbers is what this card does. Very big numbers. Retire stuff, gets 2 cards out of your deck. So very good card. I haven't tested too much with this deck, but I know for this card is absolutely busted. This card is really good, and definitely a 4 of in the Luar deck now. So yeah, there's the Dragobus, and then The new heart we got is the Drag Fall Luard, so Ritual X. So you can pay this card's you can pay the cost to Stride or Ultimate Stride. So you can also pay the cost to Stride to Ultima by paying CB4 and return one card from your drop zone back to the bottom of your one non-trigger from your drop zone back to the bottom of your deck. And then this cost gets reduced by CB1 per grade 1 in your drop zone. So basically, if you have 4 grade 1s in your drop zone, this card tries for free while putting 1 back. And yeah, so really good there. Old Luard started for free. This one also tries for free. I actually think the old Luard's condition was better in terms of striding for free, but this card still good for what it is. And then, but this Luard's stride bonus is definitely a lot better. On stride, you can CB1 and you can CB1 to call a grade 1 or below unit from your deck. So 1s or 0s, and then if the unit you called has the ritual ability, choose one of your rearguards in the same column as the unit you called and retire. So basically, if you call something like this to the right column, you pop something in front of it, basically. Front row or back row. So unlike the old Luard, this one only calls 1 card, but it doesn't require you to sack a card off for cost to do it. So I think it's better by that degree, just because your opponent can't do anything about this card getting a trap bonus. And it also gets to retire as well. So obviously, you can hit face with this. You can like go into this and Drag Abyss, and then just pop both intercepts and just go face. But this card's also really good on an Ogma turn because you know, when you strike bonus, you get your 1, because obviously you want more 1s to fuel the Ogma. But you also pop one in the rear, so your Ogma is 1 card more effective now. So good for this card is good for multiple reasons, and it's definitely your main ride now in the deck. And then as for other support, I think this grade 2 is pretty cool too. I put it in the deck, I haven't gotten a chance to try it, but his skill is Ritual 1. On play, if your Vanguard has the Ritual ability, you can just call a grade 1 or below from your deck. So just a free like grade 1 or grade 0 from your deck on play, basically. So pretty cool for that. Like a nice 1/2 maybe if you want to play it. And then as for the other cards, Slaptail is one of the main support this deck got. So Ritual 3, when a grade 1 other than this unit is placed from deck, this unit and that unit get plus 3k. So basically, if you use Drag Abyss and you call like Slaptail plus a grade 1, because spoilers, this card also can if you have a grade 4 Luard Vanguard unit gets -1 grade in deck and in drop zone. So you can call this card off with a Drag Abyss. If you call him plus like another grade 1 and you call him to a column, they both get plus 6k, so they scale to 21. So Slaptail, pretty good for that. And then the other skill counts as grade 2. So this deck can now tutor out intercepts from the deck as well, because it counts as a grade 1 in your deck. So really good for that reason. Mainly for that reason, counting as grade 1 and dropping, counting as grade 1 in deck. But second skill is pretty cool too. And then the other, some other cards we got is the Dagda. So Ritual 5, when this unit attacks a Vanguard. If your Vanguard is a Luard, CB1 and retire a grade 1 or lower rearguard to call 2 grade 1s from your deck. So basically, CB1 sack like something that 1 or a 0, and then you just have to reset a whole column. So pretty good for that. And then obviously with the Slaptail, when you call like that, the columns get power as well. And then if you do it on a second stride or onward Drag Abyss, they get even more. They're just huge. So yeah, really good card, really good extender. And as for grade 1s, there's this card, which is basically just a 7k Swordbreaker. So this card is just a better Swordbreaker now. And then there's also this card, a skill in hand. You can discard her and rest a unit with ritual ability to draw 1. So she can basically cycle herself from hand for an extra different card. So that's pretty cool. And Ritual 5, big beat stick. So yeah, Luard didn't get too many cards as for most of these decks, because you know, 7 clans in a set. Obviously, every clan has to get something. The support Luard guard, really good. And next, we'll take a look at Royals. This is actually a lot. This video is gonna be really long, but I'm not gonna go over all the clans. Like DI, I have no idea what any of those cards do. Neonectar, I don't remember what half those cards do. Am I forgetting a clan? Well, whatever. We'll slowly go over everything. Royals, they got Fidus. Fidus is not particularly too good. In the TCG, Fidus' skill was like something like something like hit automatically. Something has the brave ability. This card's skill's a lot worse. CB1, flip anything you use in face up to gain the following 2 abilities. When your unit with a brave ability attacks, and they guard with a, I think it's like when they guard with a heal guard only. You randomly rip 1 card out of your opponent's hand that's a non-guardian. So not the best. It's also once per turn, so you can't just rip multiple stuff out of their hand. So not the best, but the real reason this card you play this card is GB4 Brave. I think it's if your heart is an alt mile, I think. Choose any 3 cards from your deck and call them. So you just get to call 3 cards. Pretty good there. So yeah, good for the second skill, not so good for the first skill in my opinion. But this deck did get a bunch of other cards as well, obviously. This thing is a resist booster that also makes the whole column big. Leverot is a 10k, downside being if your Vanguard doesn't have the Brave ability, they can't attack, but Brave, if your Vanguard is an alt mile, CB1, call it grade 2 from your deck that is not another copy of himself. So works when swinging into rear as well, so really good card. Escort Eagles, now they have a resist, they have a back row intercept, and then the new alt mile as well. I don't remember what the name of those alt miles. They're all your alt miles to me. This thing can be a beat stick on rear as well. So that also gets a crit. It's pretty cool there. And then I don't even remember what its stride bonus is, but all I remember is that this card is not your main ride. This card's just a rear. And it's the rear that can get a crit. That's pretty cool there. But yeah, this card is not your ride because I think the issue with this card is that it didn't give power. Unlike the other 2 alt miles, like the first 2. So yeah. Yeah, I remember correctly. I think you do play this card in the deck. You just don't ride it. It's just the rear. So yeah, it's there. And the clan I forgot about was Nubas, which I actually did play. So we'll go over that. The GR they got is Rene. So once per turn, CB1 G Persona flip. You force your opponent to call 2 cards from their hand that are non-guardian, so not zeros and ones, or not zeros and PGs, and call them into empty rearguard circles. And then you have them swing at face, ignoring intercept, and then at the start of their turn, those units goes back to their hand. So that's how they changed the Rene. It seems pretty underwhelming at first, but then you realize that you just don't go into this card as your first ride. The first ride you go into is still Magen Tenbu, but the reason why this card's so good is because of its GB3 in conjunction with that first skill. So GB3, when a unit you dominated attacks, that unit gets plus 10k in a crit. So on second stride, because obviously Mugen Lord is still more checks for the most part. But basically, if your opponent heals down from like 5 to 4, or you just didn't push them to 5, Rene will rip 2 cards out of their hand. Best case scenario is grade 3s, because then they hit 26 off of Rene, because Rene himself also gives those units plus 5, so 11 plus 15 is 26. And then they ignore it, so they both swing face and they both guard check you. So Rene at 4 is insane on like second stride, because you basically guard check them twice from 4, which is really good. So yeah, not like that crazy 4 that people were hyping this card up to be, but still a very good second stride option if your opponent is not at 5. So still a good card, just not a crazy 4. I think it's a 2 up at most. 2, maybe you can play 4 if you have it, but I would not go out of my way to get 4 copies of this card. And then something else. Then the next card they got is the Zanki. This is the new main ride for the deck, in my opinion, at least. At the start of your turn, Soul Blast 1. You can pay the cost Soul Blast 1 to draw 1 and choose 1 card from your hand and call it. Then choose 1 random card from your opponent's hand that is not a Guardian, so not heal, not PG, and call it to rear. And then at the end of the turn, that unit goes back to their hand. So Soul Blast 1 to draw 1. So you draw 1, then you rip a card out of your opponent's hand, so you can dominate it. So there's that. And then other skill is Vanguard Circle on place or in your unit stride. So if you go first and your opponent like call out a rear, you can like dominate that rear and swing to their starter. So that's pretty cool there. Well, on place or on stride, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and give it plus 2k and then dominate it. Or you can choose any rear. You can even choose your own rear if you wanted to, just to scale. But more often than not, you're choosing one of your opponent's rear, give 2k and dominate and swing with it. So yeah, basically just a better Oboro, because he rips a card from either hand. Yes, it goes back to the hand, but if you get rid of it before it goes back to their hand, they lose the card. So easiest example here is you Zanki a card out of their hand, you Magen Tenbu that card, you dominate, you use that card, swing with a bunch of time, and the Magen Tenbu retires, or you just swing into it and kill it. So ripping cards out of their hand and dominating and get ring bit is pretty good. So yeah, definitely really good, because this card deals with hand manipulation. And another way that you can clear out cards called from the hand is with this dude. So his skill is as soon as attacks the Vanguard, your Vanguard to share anyway plus 2k, and then at the end of battle that a unit you dominated attacked, you can CB1 to retire that unit, or any unit actually, any of your units, any of your other units that attacked, including your own, which you want to use to sack your own stuff off. But basically, something that you dominated swings, you can CB1 to retire that unit to draw 1. So more draw power for the deck, more retire for the deck, pretty good. So yeah, I think that's the only like super relevant piece of support, these 3 cards, but these 3 cards are again very good support for the decks. And I think we finally hit the point of clans that I give 0 shits about. Neo Nectar, we'll go over very fast. I don't even see, as you can see, I don't even have the GR. But this card, multi-attacks, something like CB1. I actually don't remember. Those cards getting, stuff gets crit, you multi-attack. It's cool. I'm sure this card's fine. Blue Asha, I actually do not know what this card does. I have not read it. I've seen people play with it. I think like it's like what, like shuffles like 2 or 3 cards back to the deck and you draw 1 or something. They're non-heals, and then on stride you do something. It's a stride bonus. But yeah, I genuinely have no idea what this card does. But if I ever do a deck profile with this deck, I guess I'll learn by then. But yeah, I'm sure this card is fine. But I think the main thing that people were looking forward to from this set was Noel. I don't remember the exact effect of this card either, but all I know is that this card, I think things like you ditch 1, this unit can like swing from the back row, but this card can only swing at Van, which is kind of awkward. But yeah, this deck just has a back row attacker now. But yeah, I actually have no idea how good this deck is. I'm sure this deck is fine. This is like a 10k resist as well. But yeah, like I'm sure this deck is fine, but I actually have no idea what this deck does. or what the deck's playstyle is at all or anything like that. But yeah, sure it's fine now, but I doubt it's actually good because I don't see people playing it. It's not very common on ladder. I think I ran into a total of one Neo Nectar player. And DI, the deck I've just straight up never ran into. I have no idea what any of these cards do. I think like Balam, like Soul Charges, or Retires. I think. I'm sure this deck plays the GR. I'm sure this card's pretty good. No, it's like a solid first try, but yeah, I do not remember what any of the other cards do. I didn't even realize that we got a new Sharheart. But yeah, I'm sure DI is fine as well. But yeah, that's it for this video. It's already over 30 minutes long. As you can see, the further we went, the less enthusiasm I had, because I just couldn't be fucked to remember what half these cards did, especially Neo Nectar and DI. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Tell me guys what you think about this set down below in the comments. Like and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.